we start anything, we have to thank our one benefactor, the reason all of us watch cricket, the one man that keeps us glued to the screen. Thank you, Ben Ducket, for inspiring cricketers to play cricket aggressively and with an intent to win. He said that when he lost the India series, the Champions Trophy doesn't matter. So the Champions Trophy is the only thing that matters, and he showed it. He scored 200 runs in the series. That's what's important. That's what we need to focus on here. Thank you for this day, oh Ben Ducket. Thank you for your blessings, for the fun and the
Ibrahim
reverse
Zadran is also
sweeps,
playing.
the square of the wicket cuts, and all the intent. Thank you for feeding me all this intent and baseball energy. I love to see Baz smiling in the background while Joss cries below. Thank you, Ben Duckett. Thank you for knocking yourself out. Hopefully, you go back to Nottingham and it rains all over your shiny little bucket hat. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Can we restart by saying welcome back after like a month's hiatus? I've had many people ask me, "Oh, is the podcast dead?" Or they refer to it as, "Oh, the podcast she used to do."
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
all in the past
sad.
tense, but not anymore.
We're back, guys.
Now, it's a
We're back.
podcast we used to do, continue to do, and will be doing
Oof, past
until the next time we don't do it again.
The next time we go on
tense.
an unexplained hiatus. Oh my God, this is so fantastic. Oh my
It
God.
is always so good to see an imperial Western power get taken down by the forces of Islam and jihadism.
Hey, it's
It
the
is so
Asian
good.
century. It's the Asian century. It's been coming.
It's here. It's been, if we could argue that, I'd argue that at the beginning of like when 2020 started, it was initially the Indian century, but then
Mhm.
after that, it's
It's the
starting
Asian
to,
century.
It is the
it's the
Asian.
Asian century now.
I have the best segue.
Yes.
Speaking of Asian centuries, let's talk about Ibrahim Zadran.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Every time I
Ibrahim
look at his
Zadran.
that
He has
face
such
of
a
his, oh
wonderful
my God.
beard. His beard is so
Oh yeah.
well cut. It's such a well, and he has such a sharp jawline. And like he scores fun. Like his runs are just entertaining. You
Dude,
want
even
to
his
watch his
batting, he just
runs.
plays in such straight lines. He stands in one place and he just plays through the line. He doesn't move his feet that much. He stays in the back foot. He stays slightly leg sided, a little like Shubman Gill, but he's a little more angular. So he's just very straight. I'm not very straight while talking about him, like Ibrahim Zadran, but that's besides the point. He's a good
That we
looking dude.
realized.
Also, Ibrahim Zadran and Gurbaz is legitimately one of the best opening pairs in the world. All cricket, like not even associate. They're better than Australia, way better than England. They essentially like a slugger who bats like okay, he bats like a truck. Do you know what I mean? Oh, dude. Okay, we gotta create an attractive 11. Should we? Should we just rename the video
South
attractive
Shakil.
11?
South Shakil is
That's
number
out,
three.
Shakil, captain. Yes, clearly.
The thing is, are they hear me outs? They're not hear me out.
They're not hearing me out. Yeah.
You know who hear me out
Exactly.
is?
Tell me. It's more. Tell me more. Tell me more. So it's a tell me more cake technically.
Like, go
Okay.
on. I'm listening.
Go on. Yeah. We're listening. Yeah. Mitchell Santner.
Oh,
I can see how excited Udit got.
Will Young, Mitchell Santner. Okay. Williamson's not
Um,
that particularly good looking. Latham is
Will
a decent
O'Rourke.
looking dude.
Will
Will or
O'Rourke.
not? Holy shit, that Nazi soldier.
It's
Oh
just
my
the
God.
New Zealand squad. What is happening?
No,
He
I'm just
looks
talking about the
so.
New Zealand stuff.
He
He's so
genuinely.
hot,
He
man.
genuinely looks like he could be Pat Cummins' cousin or son.
Not cousin. That just kind of
I'm going
those
to.
the gay rumors there. Not cousin. Let's say just childhood best friend or something.
But okay, how about this? Udit, can you please summarize the entire game in 30 seconds?
Okay, I'm gonna try to do a Danny Morrison.
Okay, three, two, one.
Please don't do an accent.
Oh,
We got a beautiful game today with the AFGs versus the Ings. sorry. Okay.
So bad.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Danny Morrison, with all due respect, I'm genuinely sorry.
Oh my
I know
God.
that must have felt like.
Horrifying. You.
Okay,
okay.
so
So
runs
sad.
were scored, wickets were taken, people were mocked by Ibrahim Zadran. Joe Root played a reverse scoop that nearly hit his head. It went past his head like I went for six. Overton did Overton things, which was not score runs. He didn't score a 50, which I'm glad because then Overton, I would live with in a world where Jamie Overton has a 50 over 50. And then yeah, it was a nice game. Joe Fraser went for runs again. He just insists on bowling these cutters into the pitch where that's not his strength. He can bowl a lovely wide Yorker. He can bowl short balls. He can bowl at the head. I guess it wasn't the pitch for it.
Ibrahim Zadran was the first player of his nation to score a century in the Champions Trophy. First of all, the first time Afghanistan win in the Champions Trophy. Let's
Mhm.
talk about the fact that 15 years ago they were playing against Hong Kong and Japan and in like tier 5 cricket, and now they literally beat England
Twice.
Twice,
at the
twice,
twice.
continuously. I think the biggest thing about this win was the fact that we were criticizing them when they were screwing up. That was the biggest thing. We expected
You were
Afghanistan
criticizing
to
them.
actually.
You were
I
criticizing
was like
them.
shit talking them and their strategy. But that's the big best thing about Afghanistan. I mean, this is a team that's gone from playing what 2017 Mercantile Cup. It was that that first class trophy by the ICC, right? And they were like shit in that trophy, they won. And it's a team that's been like horrendously down bad for a long time, but then they've been so good since 2015. Actually, they've like their evolution has been the fastest in the history of cricket. It's been fast in India, New Zealand, Pakistan. Bangladesh has been perennially horrible.
Honestly, I think this is one of those games when eventually we will come back to the conversation of that postmortem of ODIs as a format, right? Are they still here to exist? Will they exist in the near or far future? This is one of the games where the people for ODIs will point to and say, this is the beauty of this format. This is one of those games where it was not you know, just too long to
It
digest.
wasn't
There were
slogging.
stories. There
It
were
wasn't a straight line path to victory. There were so many twists
exactly.
and turns, and there was time to have those twists and turns.
I 100% agree.
And just twisting and turns in the sense that both teams were just doing special things, not that both were screwing up in terrible ways. They're voting really special things to one up the other. Like I mean, that Joe Root ball, that ball from Omarzai was an absolute beauty. It just went up, it just went high, and it just nicked him up. He was beating my pace. We got to talk about Omarzai as well here. Because Omarzai is I don't want to say discount Hardik Pandya because I certainly think he's better than that. But he's like what? No, like Hardik Pandya
All
is like
right.
elite
Yeah, that's
tier
not that's
ODI
a
all rounder,
compliment,
right? This guy
honestly.
is he's just getting there. He's
Yeah.
just getting to that. He's probably a better bowler than Ben Stokes in ODIs at least. Ben Stokes was never the most consistent bowler. He didn't really have a role, but this guy is a new ball. He takes the new ball and he bowls high quality new ball overs. You remember when he got David Warner and Inglis in that
Hmm.
game versus Australia, right? He bowls high quality new ball
Hmm.
overs. Very elegant batter. He has a game against spin. He played that really nice pull shot down the ground. It was reminiscent of that Virat Kohli versus Haris Roth shot.
I
Wasn't hyped up as much.
oh my God, I looked at that and I was
Yeah,
like,
it was
that's
such a
very
beautiful
better.
shot.
So I feel like highlights, right? Zabran's innings, just the fact that, like, just watching the entire match, I watched it from start to finish. I respected Afghanistan's like determination and perseverance. The first 20 overs for them was so tough. They were weathering so much from England. They lost too many wickets in the start. Okay, not too many. Clearly, it wasn't too many, but they lost a shit ton of wickets
They
in
lost round
in
three.
the cursing. They lost way too many wickets at the start, and
And they got through a
then
searing spell from Archer and Wood too.
Yeah.
So
Those
credit
wickets,
to him for that.
exactly.
I think those wickets were first of all the wickets, but that runs column also what 36 in the first 10 overs, something like that.
39,
It was
39 for
30,
3
39
overs, I
something.
think.
others 38 and then 42. So they were at like 80, 81 at the 20 over mark.
Right.
Just about four
Yeah, I
runs and
mean,
over.
and they had a pretty
Insane.
slow player. I mean, Hashmatullah Shahidi is also I love him in Test cricket, by the way. I think he's a little too slow for a number five in ODIs. I think he's the weak link in the team. So, but he played a sufficient knock today. He just steadied the ship,
He played
what
the
he does.
anchor role that we needed, that Afghanistan needed. It was
Afghanistan is
important,
so
especially
well
at that side.
balanced that way.
Yeah, I
Their
think
So
fielding
well
honestly needs a
balanced.
bit of work. Their
Yeah, I
fielding,
mean that's
yeah.
that's gonna it could get there or it could be end up like Pakistan and just
It was
not get there.
I feel like it was the associate nation in them that just like sort of fumbled here and there, but like they
yeah,
were still so
I think it's also
smart cricket.
yeah,
Smart
it's a
cricket.
matter of like experience with these guys. Like you saw, I mean, Rashid Khan was gun in the field. One of
He's had
the
that experience, which is why he was gone and was
you had
able to
Mohammad
stand up. And
Nabi, you have
I
Mohammad
didn't
Nabi.
like it when he was kind of yelling at them, and then he's like he couldn't get why everyone else wasn't doing what he was. When you can see like Sedikula Atal in the field, Fazal Haq, you could see them like visibly terrified a little bit. what to do,
Mm.
and they kind of missed a few steps here and there. They had that trauma from like the Maxwell game, which is understandable when Hans
Yeah.
does you like that. But then
And
that's something you
they
can
got demolished by South Africa
That's
like
right.
last
Yeah, just a
game.
few days ago.
Imagine
they got
you
demolished
have
by
that
Wian Mulder,
decimation.
which is like sad to recover from.
Ryan Rickelton, I believe, no, as well.
That was the main
Was
one.
With the
like,
ball, yeah.
but we're not talking about South Africa. Apparently, we're talking about Afghanistan, England, and England got like,
Okay, do
pulped.
we start with how shit England were or how good Afghanistan are, which is more fun?
I
I
think
always like talking about how shit England is, even though I
Oh, I
like and
love that.
support
yeah,
them in the
we're talking
Ashes.
about Afghanistan. Let's shit on England. Let's shit on the colonizers.
But
Okay,
I
let's
mean,
start with the opening combination first and how shit Salt is.
Salt is not shit. I will defend
Salt
him.
is
Salt, he's a great.
very shit. So
He's not
Salt
shit. I
needs
think
a
he's a
bit of
great
seasoning. Honestly, he needs
player.
a bit of seasoning or he's cooked.
Oh,
He's the kind of
Very
no.
salt
good.
that you go to a
Badam
French restaurant
Tish.
and they don't serve it to you on top because the food is apparently satiable and you can't put salt on top. That's what England needs. No more salt. That was so
I
good.
disagree.
That train of
I
thought
like
was
these
so good.
analogies.
That was so good. Honestly, I've never. That was so good.
He cooked with salt.
But for real, he's not an ODI talent. He's just not got the technique. He doesn't.
He's a great T20 player, but
He's a good T20 player. He's like one of the best openers in the world in T20 cricket when it's not moving. But when it moves even a smidgen, or when he just can't pierce the gap in a field, if you so when Salt doesn't score within the first 5 balls, you know he's not on. You know he's done in the first 10. Essentially a slogger who can't play swing, can't really play spin, has a couple of hoiks to the leg side and maybe a nice cut. I mean, that's a super limited player, right? You got to develop a technique to cope with something. It's just really dumb. Ben Ducket attacks too, doesn't he? He's a good player. He can attack. He can score runs at a quick rate. He can play swing bowling. He doesn't leave the ball, but he can play good quality bowling too. That's what an opener should be.
in Phil Salt's defense, not that it's much in his defense, he's played under 30 innings in ODIs, but you'd argue that he should ideally be in a better spot than he is today. He's only scored one century
Yeah.
in
I mean, it's
those
not the century that
20
worries me,
minutes.
it's the lack of 30s or maybe 20s, even sometimes.
His average is 33.37 though,
Which is actually not that bad if you look at how he's played. But
with a high strike rate.
yeah,
Yeah.
114.96.
But he has more centuries in T20 as an ODI,
That's mad.
which I think is rather interesting. He has one ODI century with three T20I centuries.
In
I
how
mean,
many
you need a
games?
different skill set for ODIs. You need to rotate strike. And that's what I think you need to do for ODI cricket. That's more than slogging, more than defending. You just need to learn how to rotate strike. Like, you remember the Pakistan-India game
Yeah.
where in Hardik Pandya and Shami were just bowling that one back of a length and Rizwan just kept chopping it to point. That was crazy. And like Bangladesh does it really badly too. They just chop it to point. I hate that shot so much. You got to learn how to angle your face, manipulate the field. And when you do that, they bowl worse balls, right? Because they're trying to get you not to do that. You hit one bar, you go down the pitch, you take it over long off. People don't do that enough, like what Rohit Sharma does. You do that once, and then they bowl different balls, right? So you get more scoring opportunities. I mean, dot and six doesn't really make sense as much as singles do.
Absolutely. And get
But
your
one
point about that. Huh.
one respite, I think, for England is definitely the man at number 4, always there.
He's the perfect player, isn't he? Like singles. How does he find so many singles, dude? Genuinely, does he invent them? Is he single? Like, should his wife? No.
He's on
He has two
fire
children.
today.
You know those ads when you see like hot singles in your area? That's like literally Joe Root.
He's got all of them on lock.
He just proved that he's so good at it. And he's proved that, I think what I remember last year, I think, or last year, before the ODI World Cup, he had come to India to like survey. He had played in the IPL, so he put his name in the option to sort of survey Indian pitches before the ODI World Cup. And I remember because he only played like 3 games and he was horrible in the IPL. A lot of people were like, oh, he's out of form, he's not going to do well in the World Cup. And lo and behold, he pulls up and he performs. And that's just the kind of freak that Joe Root is in the best way possible.
He was very good in the Ashes too, in that Ashes 2023.
That
I mean,
was
how does he only have 1700s? He should be on 30, 35 right now with the like his style of play
He
and the
had
quality of
a
bowling.
run. He had a
Yeah, he
period of
had a
time when he
Virat
would
for
only
around
score
5 years.
50s. He would only score 50s, and a lot of people were like, should he even be part of the Fab Four? Because the Fab Four was supposed to be the ones
Oh,
who
I'm talking
score
about ODI
centuries.
cricket. Test cricket, that was there, but I'm talking about
No, no,
ODI cricket.
yes, but even then, you're talking it's still in the Fab Four. Kane Williamson, great ODI player. Virat Kohli, need I say more about his
Yeah,
Greatest of all time ODIs.
agreed.
greatest all-time ODIs? Steve Smith was also fantastic in ODIs. We saw his 2019 World Cup performance.
He
He
was
booed.
550s and I
He
was
was
very underrated champion for
he
me.
was fantastic. So out of those four, Joe Root was the only one who wasn't scoring centuries, which is why people like even despite the fact that because the Fab Four was supposed to be throughout formats who's the best, and Joe Root was
It was
often
supposed to be for
discounted
test
because
cricket
his
only.
T20 record.
I think that Martin Crowe like, did it only for test, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I think it was only for test.
I've always viewed it as like that, and a lot of people discounted because he wasn't the multifaceted cricketer like your Kane Williamson, like your Steve Smith, like your Virat Kohli. But regardless of the fact that his T20 stats aren't the most perfect, which he didn't he score like
It's not a
80
bad
something,
T20
90
start.
something.
He's
He
averaging
Yeah,
what?
scored
But
80
he's
something, 90 something in the 2016 World
he
Cup.
averages 35. He averages 35 in T20 eyes.
that's really good.
Not
This is
bad.
so,
That's
so
above
good.
Not bad.
At
that's
126,
above what
Like
Rohit
great.
Sharma.
which is great. I,
120 is not bad. Not
of
terrible.
course, not
England
great.
could use that player right now. They could really use that player.
Maybe not in this era of 280 is a chaseable
I
score,
think
but
England specifically need him because they've got sloggers everywhere. You need
true.
someone right who can
It's
actually do it
balance. I think
against Varun Chakrabarti.
this is the conundrum that I think England beyond formats now. We saw it so evident in this game specifically is balance, right? Four specialist bowlers with Jamie Overton being you have to have Joe Root and Livingston handle 5 and 5, and still don't have the best batting once you get down to people like Jamie. Uh,
I mean, Jamie is a good number 8, but is he like a fourth bowler? Really?
yeah,
In ODIs? No, he's
He's
not.
the fifth bowler. He's a
and you
fifth
think of
bowler
the
if need be.
And you think of the number of players that we keep talking about, the number of names that come out of England, the number of people that just come in and out of the side, how they don't have balance is beyond me.
Genuinely, who would be rated number 7 with Overton at 8? Sam Curran. Have you thought of that? Or Chris Wokes?
Where is
What happened to
where
Chris
Chris
Wokes?
Wokes? Chris Wokes is like he's being kicked out of the test side as well. Like he's sort of being relegated to like home track bully only.
I
He
don't
doesn't
mind
come
that.
to
I
much.
mean, I think that's absolutely fine. He's amazing at home.
But
He's
if
terrible
if
away.
that means why would he come for the World Cup in Pakistan
No, his ODI stats are perfectly
Champions
good away.
Trophy?
If you look at that, his ODI stats are really good away. He's pretty even across the board. ODI specific. I think it just brings a lot of balance. I mean, Livingston is not a he's a very good sixth bowler. He's not a fifth bowler.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what like India and New Zealand have that and Afghanistan have that perfect option. We have New Zealand has Bracewell and Phillips, who are just like legitimately good off spinners, right? At the
Mm-hmm.
fifth bowler. And you
Bracewell
have
is
Ramindra to cover a few overs as well. That's really good. India is spoiled for luxury. They have Pandya and Jadeja being the fifth bowler and sixth bowler, which is like so good, right? You can rely on any of them to complete 10 overs. And you have Afghanistan, who have 7 bowlers, literally 7, and all of them can bowl at least 5 overs, like Rashid and Noor and Fazalak and
and they
Umar
backed and
Zaibul
like
can
at
bowl.
least at
And
least
they can
Rashid
back till number
bats
9
pretty
too.
well.
Yeah, it's quite mad. I think, okay, we're coming to the end of our time here. Let's wrap up with what do you think the future of this tournament is looking like? The near future, obviously. Next few
I
games.
want Afghanistan to win so badly. If India lose, I want Afghanistan to win because it would be absolutely fantastic. But the societal impact of it might be weird. It's like North Korea winning the under 19 women's under 17 women's FIFA World Cup. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe North Korea won. But it's like, oh no, North Korea won. Then people think they might do a good thing. So there's that. If not South Africa, it's like, yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. We didn't have time for a proper outro, so I'm just doing this by myself because we were talking about Ibrahim Zadran and fawning over him, and we are still a little bit out of practice. But be assured that we are back. We will be trying to make more of these daily episodes talking about different games coming up in the Champions Trophy because this tournament has been amazing, and I'm sure will continue to be until the very end. Uh, so yeah, stay tuned for that, and I will see you on the other side. Bye bye.